Okay, so here's a hand. Powers of the base 10. So when you have 10 as the base and little different exponents with the 10. So this is going to make you remember all your place value stuff. Let's take a look at this number here. How would you say that? Well, if you're a little unsure, you should know your place value, starting with here, which would be the ones. Then you get the tens. Then you get the hundreds. Call them huns. Then you get the thousands. Thous. It's best when you write long numbers in groups of 3, so it's easy to group them and understand what they are. That's thousands. This will be the 10,000s. This will be the 100,000s. 100,000s. Now, after the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, now we're in the millions. And that's 10 million. And this will be the 100 millions. And then after the millions, you have your billions. And again, that would go 10 billion, 100 billion, and your trillions, and on it goes. Okay, so make this little table here with the headings words, standard form, and exponent form. And so what I'm going to do is show you a shortcut way to write out these numbers here. So a billion in standard form, like we have up here, the billionth place, has 9 zeros in it. 3, 6, 9. So to write out a billion, you need 1 and 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, that's a lot of zeros to write down. But there's a short way to write that, the exponent form. Using the base of 10, all you got to do is count the number of zeros. Well, we got 3, 6, 9. 9 zeros. So 10 to the power 9 is the same as a billion. Or you can write that. Okay. 100 million. 100 million would be, again, just one step back from there. What do you think 100 billion's going to look like? Well, we'll just take one of these zeros away, and you're left with, instead of 9 zeros, you're left with 8 zeros. Like that. 100 million. And that's 8 zeros, so it'll be 10 to the power 8. 10 million, which is right here. So that's where the 1 would be, I guess. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 zeros after it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 10 million. And that's 10 to the power 7. And you might see a pattern forming here. We're losing a zero each time. That means we're losing a number from the exponents. So a million will be 10 to the power 6. A 100,000 would be 10 to the power 5. So looking like this. 10,000 would be 10 to the power 4. So 4 zeros. Again, try to write it from the ones. 3 zeros, like in chunks of 3. And then 1,000 is 10 to the power 3. I think you all know what 1,000 looks like. 3 zeros. 10 to the power 2, that's 100. You know what that is. And as we keep going, 10 is just 10, obviously. What would the exponent be? Well, if we're following the pattern, it's going to be 10 to the power 1, which is true. Now, 1, which is just 1. What would the exponent for that be? If you follow the pattern, 3, 2, 1, it should be 0. And you know that anything to the power 0 is a 1, so that makes sense. Now, what about things less than 1? A tenth. A tenth and a decimal would be 0.1. So you can imagine the zeros are now on the other side of the decimal, crossed over that. Now we're less than 1. So how would you write that as an exponent? Well, if you follow our pattern, we're dropping by 1 each time. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then less than 0 is -1. So 10 to the power -1 is a tenth. And here's that little goofy negative exponent little trick that I told you before, coming up again. Another way to write this without the negative exponent is, remember, to write this as the reciprocal. Flip this. Remember, this, any number as a fraction is always over 1. So if you flip it, you get 1 over 10 to the power of 1, and then the negative sign goes away. Well, that is just 1/10. You don't need to show that. 1/10. And what's that? 1/10. So the fraction 1/10, decimal 1/10. Same thing. 100 would be shown like this, 0.01. And here there's 2 zeros before the 1, so it'll be 10 to the power -2. We're just following our pattern here. And of course, yes, you could write that by getting rid of the negative exponent there, by writing it as like this, 1 over 10 squared, which is 100 anyways, which is 100th as a fraction, and there's 100th as a decimal. Then 1,000th, of course, the exponent's going to be 10 to the power -3, which is going to be, if you want to write it without the negative exponent, 1 over 10 to the power 3, and hopefully you know 10 to the power 3, because you saw it up here. 10 to the power 3 is 1,000. It's 1 over 1,000, which is 1,000th. 3 zeros before the 1. Now, I'm not going to do every single th all the way, but let's just jump to a billionth. A billionth, well, you know, a billion was 10 to the power 9. So what do you think a billionth is going to be? Well, it's the same sort of deal. Remember, 1,000 was 10 to the power 3. 1,000. 1,000 was 10 to the power -3. So if a billion was 10 to the power 9, a billionth is going to be 10 to the power -9. Which would be, yeah, you could write it as 1 over 10 to the power 9, and I'm not going to do the whole times 10 by 10, but basically that would be 1 over a billion. And I showed you before how to write a billion. 9 zeros. How would you write a billionth? Well, 9 zeros. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a billionth. So it's very, very small. Okay. Okay. Now you can, with that knowledge, be able to do something that it's kind of goofy, actually. I admit it's kind of silly doing this, but being able to write numbers using powers of 10. I guess it's just more practice identifying or writing powers of 10. So you take a number like this, 3452, which is 3,452. And it might be handy to write down the place value of each, just in case you're stuck. So the first one is always the ones, then you get the tens, then you got the hundreds, and then you got the thousands. So we can rewrite this using what we just learned up here with the powers of 10 exponents. Okay, so starting with 3. 3's in the thousand spot. So you can write 3,000. plus 400 plus 5 tens, which is 50, plus 2 ones, which is just 2. Now, how would you write that with powers of 10? How do you write 3,000 as a power of 10? Well, you'd write 3, and 1,000 is times 10 to the 3. So you have that. Nice to put it in brackets. Plus hundreds, 400. Remember 100 from the table above is times 10 to the power 2. Again, it's easy to know. You don't have to look at the table. You just count the number of zeros, and that tells you the exponent for the base 10. So this will be 4 times 10 to the 2, because hundreds is times 10 to the 2, plus 5 times 10 to the 1 0. Again, don't even need the 1 there, but put it anyways. And then how would you write the 2? Well, follow the pattern. 3, 2, 1. It must be 2 times 10 to the power 0. Remember, 1s are to the power 0. And that's the way, if you ever get a question saying write a number using the powers of 10, that's how you're expected to write it. Some of you may be able to go from that step directly to this step. You don't need that step right there, but if you need to, go ahead. Okay. How about this question here? Write that using powers of 10. So we got our 1s, our 10s, our 100s, our 1000s, our 10,000s, 100,000s here. Okay, so let's start with the 100,000s. So I'm going to skip that step where I wrote the numbers out. I'm just going to write it directly with the powers. So 700,000. I'm going to go 7 times 10, and 100,000 is 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 zeros. That plus 8 is in the 10,000 spot, and 10,000 has 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 1,000 has 3 zeros, so the 6 is in the 1,000 spot, so it has 3 zeros, so we'll put 10 to the power 3. 100, 3 is in the 100 spot, and 100, as you should know by now, is 10 to the power 2, plus 4, which is in the tens. 4 times 10 to the power 1. I'm going to put an imaginary, I'm not going to even put a 1 there, just to show that it's just 4 times 10. Put an imaginary 1 there. And plus, I ran out of room, 5, and it's in the 1s, and remember the 1s are times 10 to the 0. Whoops. Shouldn't put the plus in the brackets there. There you go. So that number is running out to a power of 10 is that. Okay. What about this number there? Figure out the place value. 1s, 10s, 100s, 1000s, 10,000s, 100,000s. Then we're talking millions. 10 million. 100 million. So again, if you want, you can go scroll up above and see that table that we just wrote out to figure out what all the exponent 10s are. But the 1 is in the 100 million spot. And 100 million has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 zeros in it. 1 times 10 to the power 8. So that takes care of the 100 millions. Plus 2 in the 10 millions. 2 times 10 to the 7. Plus 8's in the millions. 8 times 10 to the 6. And now what do you do with this? Well, you're not going to put 0 times 10 to the 5, 0 times 10 to the 4, 0 times 10 to the 3, blah, blah, blah. You're done. That's it. There's no sense in writing these things out. They're zeros. That is the same number as what this number would be. 128 million, no, $1 million, but 100 million. 100 million plus 20 million plus 8 million, 128 million. That's the number. Last one here. This one here, using the powers of 10. Again, it's 103s. So this is in the millions here. 100,000s, 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens, ones. So 1 times 10 to the 6, that's 1 million, plus 6 times 10 to the 5, that's 100,000, plus, what are we going to do here? Nothing there, until here. This is the 100 spot. So this will be 3 times 10 to the 2. That's in the 100 spot. Nothing in the tens, and then we have a 9 in the ones. And the ones, remember, are times 10 to the 0, because anything times 10 to the 0 is 1. That's it for that one there. So if there's zeros, you just skip them. You don't have the nice pattern here, 5, 4, 2, 0, as you had above. That's because there's zeros in the way. Okay, here's your skill testing questions. There you go. Bye-bye.